Family is an important part of who we are. Not just our mums and dads, but their mums and dads, and actually their mums and dads before them. In fact, all the parents right the way back up your family tree. They all play an important part in who you are, and also why you are where you are, where you live. All the little decisions that people have made that before you, they all lead up to you being you and being in the place that you are. So before we start this part of the talk, why don't we pause the video again and you can have a little chat with your mums and dads and just see how far back up your family tree you can manage to name people. Some people might get to great-great-grandparents. Other people might get even further back. But just have a chat now and see how far you can go. Go on.
Matthew chapter 1 verse 17 to 21. So all the generations from Abraham to David were 14 generations, and from David to the deportation to Babylon 14 generations, and from the deportation to Babylon to the Christ 14 generations. The birth of Jesus Christ. Now, the birth of Jesus Christ took place in this way. When his mother Mary had been betrothed to Joseph before they came together, she was found to be with child from the Holy Spirit. And her husband, Joseph, being a just man and unwilling to put her to shame, resolved to divorce her quietly. But as he considered these things, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not fear to take Mary as your wife, for that which is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will bear a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins.
Now we all know that Joseph was a humble carpenter. There was nothing particularly special about him, was there? Jesus, however, he was the Son of God, the most wonderful and important baby ever born, the King of Kings. Surely a baby like this should be born into a royal family and live in a palace, not to a carpenter in a stable. But here's the thing, even though Joseph was not a rich or powerful man, he was of a royal bloodline. You see, Joseph is directly descended from King David, the King David. And although the building is not very grand, what's really important here isn't the building, it's where Jesus is born. It's Bethlehem, because that was where David is from. That is the seat of this royal bloodline. In 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 4, we read, Samuel did what the Lord commanded and came to Bethlehem. And then in verse 5, and he consecrated Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. Now those verses may not sound like much, but when you consider that Jesse was David's father, then you realise that in these verses, for the very first time, Samuel is meeting the young boy David. Before he killed the giant Goliath, before he becomes king. And where was he living? In Bethlehem. But it isn't just where Jesus was born that's important either. The verses we read, they also tell us that not only did God pick Mary to be Jesus' mother, he also chose Joseph to be Jesus' father. The angel literally tells Joseph that he should marry Mary and raise Jesus with her, that Jesus will be his son, and in doing so, God is showing that he has handpicked both Mary and Joseph, so that Jesus will be of that royal bloodline of David. He has picked Mary and Joseph because they are just the right people for this massive and important job. And also ensuring that Jesus is of the royal bloodline of the now second greatest king that Israel has ever known. So, yes, family is an important part of the Christmas story. And so, yeah, it probably is an important part of what Christmas means as well.